this Diddy. So I'm finna put the squeeze on and get me a couple dollars and just ain't, you know what I'm saying? Just nobody believed that was really Diddy beating Meek back in. But now y'all motherfuckers believe the video, right?
So, Nicki's always been at Jay-Z's throat, but she really hit the mark this time. The rapper dropped an insane video of Jay-Z, Meek Mill, and Diddy getting down and dirty. Of course, none of them are happy about the situation. Like, Meek fell off the wagon when Lil Rod name-dropped him in his lawsuit. And now this thing with Nicki Minaj? But wait, get this. No one's more than Jay-Z because he's apparently trying to take Nicki out of the picture for stepping out of line. We're talking about extreme measures like poisoning her. Just what happened? Is Jay really making moves here? How bad is it for Nicki? Let's find out. So it all starts with Meek Mill. See, he and Nicki were in a relationship back in 2014, but they broke up back in 2016. Back then, they didn't make waves, but in 2020, Nicki decided to set the record straight. She tweeted, "You your own sister and taped it, spit on her and taped it, me in front of your mother and sent her to the hospital. Sucking Drake made you feel tough again. Move on. Been tweeting about my man for a year now. Talking about he went to my page to see him, but he was blocked. Move on. I know you'd be embarrassed. Screwed yourself in that store when you got pressed though." Now Meek denied the entire thing, but there's just one problem with the entire thing. Meek's own friend, Dean Stay Ready, called Meek out for lying. He said, "That put Nicki out in the woods. We out in Jersey somewhere in the woods. Put her out the house and I had to go get her. She cried right here. Am I lying, Nicki?" Asked Meek's sister. He also said, "This freaking dude get to arguing with this girl in this store because she told that I ain't freaking paying your freaking tab. Go get your money out the freaking hotel. I just got $2,000 on me like I can't borrow $6,000? This arguing real bad and get to calling each other all kinds of crazy names. This corny dude starts on her. I told him right then and there, you lost your freaking mind." But you see, it was not just about Meek putting his hands on Nicki. There was a lot more going on behind the scenes, like Meek using Nicki to hide the fact that he was dipping into Diddy's baby oil stash. Yeah, Meek's been accused of being Diddy's boy toy. And it's really hard to argue otherwise since Diddy was showering him with love while he cooled off in the pool after one of their sessions.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Not to mention Lil Rod mentioned him in his lawsuit as well. But here's where it gets interesting. Before it was only speculation, but Nicki dropped footage of Meek getting clapped by Diddy. Before I play the video, I gotta tell you, it's some seriously disturbing stuff. When the footage dropped, fans were shocked, but one of Diddy's ex-bodyguards spilled the real tea. He talked about how he was at a freak-off party when he heard everything go down.
Champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the out. I don't drink, so I was playing that off like I don't drink. I smoke. Like, I smoke and I had my own, but like everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against cheeks. I heard struggling to take. I heard being like, "Yeah, daddy." Like when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling. Like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all this because I was like, this Diddy rich. So I'm finna put the squeeze on and get me a couple dollars and just ain't, you know what I'm saying?
There's just one problem with his version of events. Turns out that he could have been on Nicki's payroll and she's the one who got the video recorded. How do we know that? Well, Jaguar Wright pulled back the curtains on that one.
Milk, running the wham, talking about expensive pain in his
Wait, this is Philly you're talking about now. Wait a minute, Jack.
me.
Wait a minute.
He's a Fruit Loop. He Diddy-fied.
This is Philly.
He's a deep fried period. He Diddy-fied. He Diddy-fried. He the Diddy do our bop. Meek, real rap.
You think that audio that they put out was real?
Yeah, that was him. Nicki put that out there. That Nicki recorded that at the freak off in the Calabasas.
And well, Nicki kind of messed up by exposing Diddy because his best pal Jay made sure to make her pay. See, Nicki and Jay may be working in the same industry, but they're far from friends. In fact, when Jay became public enemy number 1 for not choosing Lil Wayne for the Super Bowl halftime show, Nicki was breathing down his neck. She tweeted, "Go and enjoy your freaking money before it's too late." She also tweeted, "Denying a young black man what he rightfully put into this game for no other reason but your ego. Your hatred for Birdman, Drake, and Nicki got you punishing Lil Wayne? Lil Wayne, the GOAT. Nola, what's good?" Eminem stood firm on having 50 Cent come out. A white man. Stuff sad. House N-word tings. However, for Nicki, the beef's not all Jay sandbagging her mentor. It's the fact that Jay tried to pull the same dirty tricks with her. Some of you might not remember, but back in the day, Jay tried to make some waves in the streaming industry by coming out with his own label. He launched Tidal, a streaming service, and he got all his big friends in the industry to chip in. We're talking about Daft Punk, J. Cole, Jack White, Arcade Fire, Jason Aldean, Beyonce, and Rihanna. Even Nicki Minaj was part of the starting party. These artists were going to get 3% equity in the company in return for putting their music on the platform. However, you know how they say all that glitter is not gold? Well, that's exactly the case here, and Nicki made sure to let everyone know. A fan online struck a nerve, writing, "And everyone who had the 1.5% got paid." And that's when Nicki chose to set the record straight. "I didn't even get one red penny when no one promoted it more than me outside of Beyonce. Lol cheap." Fans were shocked with Nicki's revelation, but Jay-Z's camp couldn't have Nicki ruining their image. And so Steve Stout jumped in to do damage control.
There's certain people that always are defending certain people and talking about me. And I know that they're sent to do it. And Steve Stout's one of those pause, burger face, stupid, will do anything anybody tells him for $1, hate his culture. And I just want to know who sent you, but you're making it obvious. And why you won't leave me alone.
Now, one thing you should know about Steve is that he's always in Jay's corner, and there's a good reason. See, he and Hav are actually cousins. They weren't close before, but that changed over the years, and that's why Steve even came after Dame Dash for beefing with Jay. He said, "Jay grew up, Jay wanted more." I think Jay saw Dame's ceiling, and I think that's really what it was. He wanted more. Everybody wanted more. Dame just had a very particular way of approaching things. But Steve should have held off on this one, because Nicki wasn't about to let him come after him like that. She read him to filth on X, writing, "I received a call advising Tidal was sold, and they made no money on the deal, so all they could offer me was $1 million. But wait, there's more?" The lawyer advised that Deseret advised him that I had to sign the agreement in 24 hours if I wanted the $1 million or the offer was off the table. Listen to the end of fractions for what my response was. For those of you who haven't listened to the song, the lyrics go, "He trying to eat it up, I said, come and get it, boo. While I count a mill, jigga what, jigga who, what or why?" FYI, Jigga is Jay's nickname. Now, if you thought that was bad, well, Nicki was only getting started. She tweeted again, writing, "So Barbs, thank you for supporting something I was a part of. I love you. But I was scammed and offered $1 million to be silenced. I declined. The grace of God is sufficient. I didn't need their hush money. My documentary was also." So from the looks of things, Nicki was offered $1 million, but she was owed way more. She had 3% equity in the company. However, she was lowballed, and the $1 million was a slap to her face, a small compensation to keep quiet. In another tweet, she wrote, "They gotta keep the conversation on me so that no one asks about these charges against their BFF." And that caught fans by surprise, since she was calling out Jay for being friends with Diddy without dancing around the subject. The tweet further read, "I mean, it seems the 30-year-old T here is far from stale. Patterns, yet, sass, ugly alien, stout, D-breath, etc. All talking about Annika? Why they talking about Oniqua?" She also responded to a fan's tweet, writing, "Worried about the tea of a 15-year-old child who was railroaded, aka her husband Kenneth Petty." But no comments on the tea and baby oil that's been going on for decades and as recent as months ago? If 15-year-olds need to be held accountable and told they can't ever move past their past, then what about the 30-year-olds who sat by and was silent, etc.? Oh, right, let's keep the blogs focused on Oniqua. Short and Stout don't want to talk about him, friendam? LMFAO. And if Jay was sweating after that one, well, he must have been frantically calling his lawyer after this next one, because Nicki wrote, "Dear Short and Stout DIK, Laffy Taffy Alien, DIK Bref, SAS, we want to know if you were present during mistreatment of teenagers and That's what we want to know. You can't taste my stop, Aaliyah, Foxy, etc. During R. Kelly videos, shoots, and stuff? Did you know about the mistreatment to Kim Porter and Cassie? Y'all seem to always run in a sorta rat pack. So that's what we, the PPL, want you and your peeps to speak on. Ugly. Bald head bowling ball beat. You words don't have this energy for gangsters in person, only for beats on the internet. And if any of those 4 men I named would like to shoot the fair one, the would a gangster, I'll run the winner of the fight $10 million. Until then, watch that karma spin. 25 men spoke out, but these only talking about me. Every single day. That's how I know I win. And so with Nicki dropping truth bombs left and right, it's obvious Jay would try to mess with her career. But here's where things get creepier. When Jay's not trying to screw with her career, he's busy ordering hits on Nicki. And that's not even an exaggeration. See, earlier this year, Nicki almost ended up in the hospital, thanks to someone messing with her food. She posted a picture of a brown paper bag that said, "We love you, Barb," and explained the story behind it in a caption, writing, "Thank God I don't eat the food in this place." Imagine seeing this written on a brown paper bag. Why would a person placing an order say who's it for? Odd? Or, you could say that Nicki was being paranoid, but let's think about it for a second. The delivery person couldn't have known the order was for Nicki unless someone from her camp messed up. At least fans think so. One person wrote, "Time to restructure and reevaluate your team, queen." No shade. It's very unprofessional for anyone to even mention you when ordering food, even if it was in fact for you. Like common freaking sense. IDK Chi, this is strange. It's unnecessary. That's good advice. There's just one problem. Nicki had already fired the employee for something else and somehow she ended up back on her team. Her tweet read, "Oh, she was fired last leg but was mysteriously hired again? Could you guess who she works for?" She also said, "I didn't know she was still hired until last night." Look at God, safe to say, she was being set up. Now, some folks thought that Nicki was being paranoid, but one person explained it best. They wrote, "Considering the things Diddy was doing, she has a reason to. Jay-Z is still out there, and that makes sense. Diddy has been accused of putting some hits on his enemies. And Jay-Z? Well, his hands are not exactly clean either. He's been accused of taking out his pregnant mistress, Kathy White, to save his marriage. And that's not a stretch since Jay is friends with some shady people like DeHaven Irby and Emery Jones. They were busted for selling illegal substances. And get this, Jay-Z was in on it as well. According to one source, one person who spent time with both Jay-Z and DeHaven during the early 1990s estimates that Jay-Z was moving a kilogram of illegal substance. He was definitely involved in the narcotics game. There's no denying that. And when Jay's buddies got busted, he was kind enough to write a letter to a federal judge, and that allowed his pal to get a sentence reduction. The point is, Jay's got the necessary ties in the industry to take someone like Nicki out of the picture. Maybe Nicki would be better off watching her six instead of making enemies. Do you think she's got a real target on her back? Should Nicki go into hiding? And more importantly, what kind of connections do Jay and Diddy really have that allowed them to get away with this kind of depravity? Well, if you're interested, make sure to check out this video.
Y'all, this Jay-Z and Beyonce situation is getting crazier by the day. And y'all better come on in the room and get your fresh bro, because 50 Cent is out again giving his 2 cents about the situation. And it looks like we've had a situation backwards. Now, y'all know how people have been coming for Jay-Z and accusing him of being a manipulator who has been allegedly forcing Beyonce into doing some pretty bad stuff, right? Well, 50 Cent is coming out to reveal just how wrong we were about all this, saying that not only is Beyonce as bad as Jay-Z, but she's even worse, and he gave some shocking examples of her alleged activities. But he didn't stop there, because he also revealed how Beyonce is trying to make Jay-Z take the fall for their messy actions by divorcing him, setting him up for failure, and then throwing him under the bus. Cause listen, there's a whole lot we need to unpack here, because 50 Cent is spilling some crazy tea. Is this why Jay-Z has been desperately professing his love for Beyonce these past couple of weeks? Okay, so y'all might need to sit down for this, because the drama is here. And there's a lot of insane things going on Hollywood right now, but specifically between Jay-Z and Beyonce. In case y'all have somehow been out of the loop with the drama that's been going on between Hollywood's biggest power couple, there have been some reports from insiders that Beyonce is strongly considering divorcing Jay-Z and just packing it all up. No, yeah, the drama has been going on for a minute now, and for a while people kind of assumed that the reason Beyonce was leaving Jay-Z was that she was tired of him using and manipulating her. Well, see, there have been reports for a very long time about how Jay-Z is not exactly a stand-up guy, and he's involved in a lot of questionable and shady activities behind the scenes. Now, I'm not going to go into all the deep details about the things Jay-Z's been accused of, because I'm sure y'all saw the videos that I've made before. If not, go check them out. There's a lot of allegations and rumors, but for a long time people have kind of assumed that Beyonce is another one of his victims, especially because she has a squeaky clean image in the eyes of the public, and because she was so young when they got together. Beyonce spilled the the tea in an interview, saying, "I was 18 when we first met, 19 when we started dating. There was no rush. No one expected me to run off and get married." Then they officially started dating when Beyonce was 19 and Jay-Z was a whole 31. It's a substantial age gap that had fans buzzing, and some even tossed around some speculations. But it's even worse than that, y'all, because in 2007, Charlie Rose did an interview with Jay-Z, and he said he had met B 10 years ago, or in 1997. And if they met in 1997, and Beyonce was then only 16 when they met. In fact, depending on when they met, she could have been 15 for all we know. The thought of Jay-Z, who was in his late 20s or 27 or 28 at the time, pursuing a 16-year-old Beyonce was very, very shady to say the very least. And as a result of this, people often see Beyonce as a victim, and she is often left out of the narrative whenever Jay-Z is getting dragged for his not-so-nice activities. Even when the couple is getting dragged for allegedly blackballing the careers of people in the industry, people focus more on Jay-Z's part and how he is using his powers to influence and to blackball other artists. But Beyonce is left out of the conversation because she's the media's darling. Well, 50 Cent is trying to clear this narrative allegedly because he is starting to share his insider knowledge to the world. And well, let's just say that he doesn't exactly have a whole lot of nice things to say about Beyonce. Now, when the news was broken by blogger Storm Monroe a couple of months ago, everybody was on Beyonce's side, talking about how great it was that she was leaving him for good.
What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate. And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z's up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it, and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him. Okay? And she may or may not do an interview, but you're gonna, their publicist is gonna release something. It's gonna say, "Oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah, 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 blah."
The thought of Beyonce leaving Jay was a hit among fans, especially because Storm said that Jay-Z was about to get exposed. And I'm not talking about some petty exposure like him ruining careers or blacklisting people. No, I'm talking about something major, like some Diddy level exposure for some insane stuff that he may have done in the past. The interesting thing here is that Storm was not the first one to tell us that Jay-Z was going to be exposed for some bad things he might have did, because after Cassie's explosive lawsuit that exposed Jay-Z's best friend Diddy of some truly horrific things, Jaguar Wright came out to tell us that Jay-Z was the next in line to be exposed. Jaguar also claimed that the reason Jay-Z was not getting exposed was that he was smarter and more careful than Diddy was.
Sean Carter is worse.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
This pussy been lining up people he calls friends and stepping to the side while they get hit by the guillotine for 30 fucking years.
But like they say, birds of a feather flock together. And I guess that's the story here, because the streets are saying that Jay-Z was really as bad as Diddy was. And considering the things that Diddy has been accused of, let's just say that people were glad we found out that Beyonce might be considering divorce. But apart from this whole thing about the age gap between Beyonce and Jay, there's also the fact that he has cheated on her multiple times in the past. And now I'm not just talking about Lemonade and Becky with the good hair. I'm referring to the fact that he's been cheating on her since they started dating. According to reports, Jay-Z started cheating on Beyonce only a few months after they started their relationship, and one of their first women that he cheated with was rapper Charlie Baltimore. Now, if you've been keeping up with the drama, then you probably heard the rumors of Charlie and Jay-Z having an affair behind Beyonce's back. But for those of y'all who don't follow the drama, Charlie used to be in a relationship with Notorious B.I.G., aka Big Biggie Smalls back in the day. And reports have it that somewhere along the line, Charlie got sick and tired of being the other woman, while Jay paraded his relationship with Beyonce. So Charlie ended the affair with Jay-Z, but Jay-Z didn't take it well at all, allegedly. He got so jealous that Charlie moved in with another man, and apparently he was so jealous that he risked going to jail. Y'all remember when Jay-Z was arrested for stabbing a man in a club? Well, Jay-Z allegedly stabbed the producer, and he claimed that the producer had been illegally distributing bootleg copies of his then unreleased album Volume 3, Life and Times of Sean Carter. They ran into each other at a club, and Jay-Z pulled an 8-inch knife and knifed this other man. But inside sources, especially 50 Cent, are now calling BS on this story, claiming that the real reason for the stabbing was that Jay-Z found out that Charlie had started dating the producer and he got jealous. Now, getting mad at your former side piece for moving on when you're literally dating the Beyonce is actually insane. And 50 Cent wasn't capping, because rapper Cameron backed it up and confirmed that stabbing was over Charlie.
It wasn't over no money. It wasn't over being righteous. What was it over?
A chick?
What we don't do is we don't fuck with our homies' ex-bitch.
Bow.
You feel me?
You know who that is now,
I
right?
said bow. Charlie Baltimore.
There you go.
But speaking of 50 Cent, he is now coming out to speak about the current situation of the divorce. And well, let's just say he's not exactly Team Beyonce, because he believes that Beyonce is the villain, but everybody seems to think Jay-Z is. Now, for those of you who don't know, 50 Cent has had a beef with Jay-Z and Beyonce for a long time. Actually, the beef started between Jay-Z and 50 Cent, and then Beyonce got roped into it because she was defending her man. Now, we've got to give y'all the backstory about this whole drama, because it's kind of funny and petty, which isn't surprising because we know that 50 Cent is the king of being petty when it comes to these Hollywood cases, because y'all know that 50 is gonna troll anybody at any time. Anybody can get it if he feels like they should. The bad blood between Jay-Z and 50 Cent started when a 50 Cent disc came out to Jay-Z in his 1999 song How to Rob. People have always said that he did it for clout. I mean, Jay-Z was already a poppin' artist back then, and 50 Cent was just trying to come out. In fact, it was 50 Cent's first major song, and it made a lot of waves. But to be fair, Jay-Z was not the only artist he dissed on that track, because 50 Cent also dissed and trolled many other top artists, including Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, Diddy, Missy Elliott, Will Smith, and more top artists of the era. He was clearly trying to get attention. And in the song, 50 Cent dissed Jay-Z saying, "What, Jigga just sold like 4 milli? He got something to live for. Don't want a man putting 4 through the Bentley coupe door." A lot of artists who got dissed in that song gave their own clapbacks, and that was that. But Jay-Z is the type of person who keeps grudges for a very long time, which is why the beef between him and 50 lasted this long. Jay-Z eventually clapped back and dropped a diss track of his own in his song It's Hot, Some Like It Hot, where he said, "Go against Jigga? You diss. I'm about $1. What the up is 50 cents?" Well, 50 Cent eventually admitted that he was chasing clout when he dissed Jay-Z and all those other rappers and singers. When he interviewed with Rolling Stone, 50 Cent said, "When he responded, I was complimented. He wouldn't say nothing back to somebody he didn't think was hot. I never went to radio until after he said that about me. I don't know if my career would be where it's at if he didn't respond." So what was this whole beef about, 50? Well, 50 Cent admitted that the reason that he had a problem with Jay was that Jay-Z felt like he was the greatest. In another interview, he said he's got a king complex. He thinks he's effing Jesus, you know what I mean? This Jehovah-ish. I'm just watching him. He said something one time I didn't like, those little things, subliminal things. For me, that's the punk way to do things. Well, Jay-Z tried to deny the rumors of beef, saying that he and 50 were fine, but 50 was not about to let this narrative fly, and he was quick to come out and deny that he and Jay were on good terms. He also claimed that they would never be friends, saying, "We don't have those kinds of relationships. These people are people I associate with. We are in the same business. We're not necessarily friends. We don't call each other for no reason." Well, as it turns out, Beyonce was not a fan of 50 Cent constantly throwing digs at her men. Even though she and Jay-Z had not started dating when his beef with 50 started, she still took Jay-Z's side, and things got so messy that 50 Cent revealed that he even tried to fight him.
And I'm like, wait, what is you doing? That stuff, that's me and Jay-Z stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with you, bro. Don't come
So
on.
Ho wasn't there?
Me, I'm talking to Jay.
You talking to Jay?
As soon as I talked to Jay, she jumped down, came over. I said, "Oh shit, look at this."
Of course, 50 Cent, being 50 Cent, could not resist making a joke of the situation.
As long as I would have had to reboot. Solange is like,
The thought of Beyonce wanting to throw hands with 50 Cent over Jay-Z is very wild. I'm not gonna lie, but it kind of explains why 50 Cent is one of the very few people who actually see her for what she is, and why he believes that she is not a victim like most people think she is. Not only does 50 Cent believe that she's not a victim, he actually believes that she's worse than Jay-Z, and that she was the mastermind behind most of the things that people have accused Jay-Z of, allegedly. I remember when her former bodyguard came out to expose her and Jay-Z for blackballing the career of singer Carrie Hilson.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are, how you step on anybody to stay on the top.
For some reason, Jay-Z ended up catching all the smoke for that, and for some reason, Beyonce was left out the conversation. The bodyguard also claimed that Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage was nothing but a business merger.
Your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there. See, what's done in the dark will definitely come in the light. Keep your threats up.
Now this part was not surprising because we all know and have heard several rumors about how things are just purely business between them. But according to 50 Cent, there is more there because Beyonce has been allegedly being sneaky for the longest time. 50 Cent brought up the topic of Beyonce's former drummer, how she accused Beyonce of some not so nice stuff, and how she was mysteriously silenced after she came out to expose Beyonce and speak on what it was really like being with her behind the scenes. According to the drummer, whose name is Kimberly Thompson, Beyonce allegedly dabbles in the occult. She spoke to the Daily Beast, and the interviewer said she claims that for some reason B has started a campaign of harassment against her that includes extreme witchcraft, dark magic, and magical spells of sexual molestation. She also claims that the Lemonade star murdered her kitten. Thompson believes Beyonce has been tapping her phones and controlling her finances. It's unclear why Thompson believes that the singer is allegedly doing all this to her, but she is adamant it all stems from B. Well, Kimberly went live on Instagram to speak on Beyonce.
Entire time, this person was casting spells and manipulating me and controlling my job situations, my relationships, all just a very wicked tactic to just keep me